Hi, everyone. Let's wait for a few seconds to get some more people in. This is Felix from Chorus One. And yeah, today we will talk a little bit about Lido for Solana and liquid staking in general. We have a bunch of different people on, so this will be a short 30-minute session. We have some people from Lido DAO on, so and like some people from the Chorus team, and also some special guests from the Solana ecosystem. Maybe while we wait for everyone to come on, we can do a short introduction of some people that maybe are here. Feel free to do that. I am Felix. I work as the Chief Commercial Officer at Chorus One. We are a staking provider, and we have been building the Lido for Solana solution for Lido. So maybe as a short overview, right? Lido for Solana allows you to stake with a diversified set of node operators on Solana, while also receiving a tokenized liquid version of staked SOL that allows you to participate in DeFi with your stake. So getting rid of a bunch of the limitations that you usually have when you stake, which includes kind of the collateral being locked and you not being able to exit at any time, but having to adhere to like lockup in the deactivation period in Solana specifically. And yeah, Lido helps you kind of unleash the full potential of your staked assets in the DeFi ecosystem. That's emerging a lot in the Solana, where we now have, I think, over 10 billion worth of total value locked in Solana. So maybe that's just like a quick intro. I see there's a bunch of other speakers. Maybe Vasiliy, can you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Vasiliy. I'm CTO of P2P and tech lead of Lido on Ethereum, the Ethereum staking protocol. I was on Twitter Space for Lido one time already, so if you if you are here regularly, you probably know me. Not much to say beyond that. We are working on Ethereum liquid staking with our team and lending a helping hand when we can to the teams building other protocols, liquid staking protocols, and that's Lido approach to decentralization. We want to have as many separate independent teams working on independent staking protocols as it's reasonable, basically. So Lido is not just like one core team that's doing everything. We want many people building business Lido, and we're talking about one of them today.
Yeah, maybe I'll also just say hello. This is Izzy, and I'm also working with the Lido DAO. My job is to be like the master of validators, so I'm helping the DAO and all of our different node operators and the lead technical teams and the different protocols that we have coordinate, figure out the best way to onboard node operators, monitor and evaluate node operators as they're operating, and then explore from a strategic perspective how we can increase the decentralization and trustlessness of the Lido protocol as we evolve and go into the future of our service offerings.
Yeah, I think we also have Jacob on. Maybe while we are on the Lido team, maybe you can say a few words.
Yeah, of course. My name's Jacob. I'm also a member of the DAO with Lido. I'm primarily helping on business development, cross protocol. So my day-to-day focus is generally on the Ethereum network, but I'm partnering closely with Chorus One, especially Felix, across all expansions of Lido as we begin moving into new networks.
And I think we also have someone from the Solana Foundation here.
Yep, that's me. My name's Andrea. I work on the Solana Foundation specifically with regards to sort of grants and marketing, looking at really any way to promote decentralization and censorship resistance, but stake pool is obviously a big part of that. So excited to talk about this today.
Awesome. Yeah, I think also like another, now we have also Anatoly on, so maybe hi Anatoly. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, super awesome to be here. I think I've tweeted about censorship resistance like every day for the last 2 years. So stake pools are definitely a huge part of it. Amazing to see you guys go live and the progress you've been making.
Cool. And then we have one of the node operators from also Ethereum and I think also Terra and Solana on. So JK from Stakefish. Hi, and thanks for joining.
Hey everyone, this is JK from Stakefish. We are operating node operators for Lido on Ethereum and Solana. Not Terra yet, fortunately. And then yeah, so we've been one of the earlier node operators. We saw a lot of potential with what Lido is doing, especially unlocking the liquidity on staking, which I think is going to be a critical layer for DeFi in the future. So yeah, very excited to be here.
All right, so maybe we can jump into it since we're a few minutes in. Felix, you gave us a pretty nice explanation earlier, like what is liquid staking, what are the general benefits of ST-Sol over vanilla staking. What do you kind of see as the general role of ST-Sol in the greater Solana ecosystem? What kind of things does it enable and unlock?
Yeah, sure. So I think one thing that's very important to note is that Sol as the native asset, of course, of the Solana ecosystem should be used to help secure the network, right? Be delegated to validators that then will make up the core of the network. And at the same time, though, there is this DeFi ecosystem where you can use your tokens in different ways, for example, to trade, to lend and borrow. And in a way, by not having Sol accessible for this ecosystem, you're like locking out like one of the largest kind of collateral types that you can have. So what ST-Sol really achieves is allowing people that want to participate in securing the network and earning the staking rewards for that to also participate in the DeFi ecosystem and kind of support and help grow that kind of core use case of the Solana ecosystem by adding a bunch of additional collateral. So right there's I think large amounts, billions of dollars basically locked in staking on Solana right now, and with ST-Sol and other stake pools, by using that you can again reuse that collateral in DeFi, and that really brings a bunch of potential and can also help create like interesting financial products that involve staking rewards. So I think that's basically the core idea here.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Maybe we can also get some like a hello and also some input from Konstantin who just joined us. Konstantin obviously is one of the founders of Lido, or Jacob from a BD angle. Like, how do you guys see the role of ST-Sol in the greater crypto ecosystem? When we're talking about things like unlocking cross-chain functionality.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I just want to say thank you. To Felix and all the team. It's a great achievement they delivered, like in so short period. Liquid staking, and it's really complex protocol, and it's launched. So now we can already use it. In case of cross-chain, I think it will be interesting to move STake-Sol to Ethereum DeFi and look how it can be integrated there. So we can even have a pool like stake this to stake Sol, and somebody can trade stake Sol to any other tokens. And I think Felix said there are a lot of, why it's important, because now you don't need to use Sol only to pay transaction fee. For all other, you can hold stake Sol, it is better.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. Jacob, how about you answer to this one? Like, what do you see the role of ST Sol being within like the Lido protocol?
Yeah, all of the ST-based assets, they really represent almost a new take on the traditional bond mechanism, because you're putting up collateral to provide a service, in this case, securing the network, and in exchange you get rewarded for that. And I think it's really interesting that we're making it so that it's as easy to stake with a simple click, and being able to provide that service where you have a unit of account that represents the security of the network, while also at the same time helping to decentralize it across the various actors, is just a really powerful tool. And then being able to, going to the previous question, bring that cross chain, it makes it, in our minds, just a net better store of value and tool to use across all these protocols in the system. So I think it's just a huge benefit to be able to swap between them as well as we expand across additional protocols.
Awesome. Yeah. Wanted to also ask, because I guess there's Lido as a cross-chain liquid staking protocol, and basically getting a lot of traction on Ethereum with achieving, like, I think over 10% of all ETH basically staked with Lido. And then of course there being a certain responsibility to help decentralize the network. And of course we have various discussions around that. I know Izzy, for example, you're also involved in helping there. And of course there is a wider strategy in terms of how Lido helps decentralize the networks that it supports. So maybe to Vasiliy, as a kind of one of the core protocol developers on the Ethereum side, how do you see this long-term evolution for helping, how Lido helps decentralization on the different networks, and how does the validator set maybe evolve in your eyes?
Yeah. I actually did a talk about that. It was mostly concerning Ethereum on the last conference in Paris. But the gist of it is that the natural staking protocol that are used in Cosmos and Solana and Ethereum and etc. They are a little bit. They have a little bit of centralizing force, because staking providers are not very differentiated. Actually, there are, like, between good node operators, you can't really choose very well, except on basically on fee, because they are all good. And that means that branding plays a lot of role, and that leads to centralizing. So centralization on one hand. On the other hand, the custodial liquid staking on exchanges also is very a good opportunity for people to stake, and a very good product, and that also leads to centralizing. So if you look at stake distribution at major blockchains, you can see that the Nakamoto coefficient is usually pretty low, unless there are some measure takens, like what Anatoly is and Solana Foundation are doing with delegation to smaller node operators. What I like about liquid staking protocols is that when you combine them with DeFi, they are naturally great as a base layer of DeFi. So it's the lowest risk rewards you can earn, and you can use it in every other protocol as a collateral, as a trading pair, as everything. And as a base layer of DeFi, they people want them, and protocols want them, and everyone wants them to be as secure as possible. And security for liquid staking and for staking in general comes only with decentralization. So there is a natural force that pushes liquid staking protocols to decentralize staking, because this is the good liquid staking protocol will be decentralized. That's how it will be the most safe and the most secure, and the most usable as a base layer, as a base asset in the DeFi ecosystem of the respective protocol. It's just like as well as with the usual staking, it's usual delegation. It's not a very strong force, but it is there. So it is possible to build a liquid staking protocol that is naturally pushed by the whole ecosystem towards decentralization, and that's how I personally want to operate this.
Awesome, thanks. Yeah, you already touched upon a bunch of things, and I think would be super interesting. You also mentioned the stake pool initiative of the Solana Foundation. So maybe since we have Anatoly and Andrea here, what are your thoughts basically on the contribution of stake pools to decentralization and censorship resistance, specifically in Solana, but of course also other networks? If you...
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to jump in. So security in BFT systems comes from this assumption that there's at least some number of honest nodes that can recover the data and show a valid ledger. In the worst case scenario, we actually got to practice that a week ago, and to maximize the probability of that succeeding, you need to maximize the number of nodes that are high quality. Honest is this kind of not a super objective term, but all that means is that the validator, the operator that's running the system, needs to secure their keys, needs to make sure that their storage doesn't corrupt the data, etc. Right? Like they actually need to do work, and it's hard to prove that work is done on the internet. It's basically no way for you to know whether somebody's actually doing that from their activity on the network. It's effectively kind of a human check, right? Like, and that part of it, I think, is the often missed part. And what does it mean to be decentralized in a BFT system? Is you actually need enough humans out there that are doing the right thing, that are looking over each other's shoulders and checking it on each other. Like, hey, are you actually running a secure system? Are you a high quality validator? How are you storing your keys? How are you making sure that the system itself has robust, security? All this stuff somebody needs to do and train people. And what I like about stake pools is that it's an opportunity for the communities to kind of self-organize around a banner, whether it's Lido or another stake pool or the Solana Foundation one, and kind of get those ropes, like learn those ropes and maximize that set of honest systems that can actually recover in the worst case scenario. So if these things are used in DeFi, what I'm hoping will happen, right, as finance moves into decentralized finance, right, like actually, all of the world's finance that starts moving over, that all the financial analysts, everybody that's working in finance, their entire job is to analyze risk. They should start actually looking at the foundations of how these things work in an objective way, seeing which pools actually do a good job of maximizing real sets of honest, high quality validators. And those are the ones that should be seen as the stable, most secure collateral base. And if we have that loop, right, incentives from finance to maximize censorship resistance that flow down to the people doing the work, if that loop actually is, profitable, right, self-sustaining, then I think we've built, a real new financial system. And that's the real exciting part. That stake pools can actually tie all those things together and create value for the world.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I think we also had Ella join from Solana Foundation. Maybe you want to also introduce yourself a little bit and talk a bit more about the work with stake pools on Solana.
Sure. Hey guys, I'm Ella or Couscous, and I've been working on rolling out stake pools for the past couple of months. Super excited about Lido, Marinade, Ocean, Parrot, all of these stake pools that are now on Solana. Kind of just to intro them, stake pools on Solana are pretty unique because you can actually delegate your SOL without having to choose a specific validator. For a lot of people, this is makes kind of the delegation process a lot easier because they don't have to go through the process of researching every single validator. They can choose a trusted entity, let's say Lido or Marinade, to do that research for them, find the best validators who are decentralized, who have good rewards, and stake to them. And as I'm sure Felix will talk about, you also get to actually participate in DeFi with your stake pool token. So you no longer have to lock up all of your stake to a single validator and then sit on the sidelines. And that's just a completely new framework for how to actually interact with these consensus validators. And I think will lead to some really interesting innovations.
That makes a lot of sense. Thanks. And I hope we have some time to explore that more in perhaps like another Twitter Spaces call. I also see that we have Rude here from the Chorus One technical team who took over the implementation of Solana for Lido. So Rude, maybe just like a few technical questions. What was like the chief challenge that you guys faced while you were developing SDSol?
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, so I'm Ruud. I'm one of the developers working for Chorus One. We implemented the on-chain Lido program. Good question. So one of the technical issues that we run into was maybe more of a practical issue, is that just Solana is really young as a platform to develop for. So that means it's not as polished as something else that you might use, and many of the tools that you're used to as a developer are just not there yet. For example, if you're writing a program for your laptop and there's a debugger, and if it's doing something unexpected, you can pause it and kind of look under the hood to see what's happening. But these tools don't exist for Solana yet, so that makes it a bit more challenging to develop for than a more established platform. On the more technical side, I think one of the challenges that we had was how do we do the stake, the reward distribution, how do we set up the stake accounts, and how do we compute the exchange rates? Because there are limits that the Solana platform has. For example, the number of accounts you can reference in a single transaction. And if we want to scale to thousands of validators, then we can no longer see all of them in a single transaction. We don't know how many rewards they made. So then we needed to split this up in multiple steps and kind of turn things upside down.
That's pretty interesting. Thanks for the insights into that. I guess like another kind of really important thing in this space and in the ethos of this space, in addition to decentralization and all of that, is like open source. So how open source is the implementation?
The implementation is fully open source. So the program that runs on Solana and also our tooling to interact with it is open source. And that's a very great point, because I think to be able to trust the program, you need to know what the program is doing, and then you need to be able to see the code. If the code is proprietary, then you're just giving your soul to some black box, and you just have to trust the authors. So we are fully open source, like all of it is on GitHub. And we are also fully reproducible. So that means that anybody can take the source code and produce the same program that's on Solana right now and check that it's really the same program. So you can confirm that the source code that we publish is really the source code that's processing your Sol.
That's great.
Yeah, I wanted to tell that I really enjoyed how you did it. It's a very best practice available right now on Solana, and it's really not easy to verify the source code of a deployment on Solana because Rust builds are generally not reproducible, and you need to take special effort to reproduce and check the code. And as a part of multi-sig ceremony, we did all that, and the operational scenario, the guides to do this, and the verifiability of Slider's code is very impressive. I was enjoying the architectural decisions and the discussion and the code itself. But what I got to say, the operational stuff at deployment was absolutely perfect. You nailed it.
Thanks.
Pretty high praise from Vasiliy there. Rude. What about the audits that you guys went through? Obviously, this was a pretty complex initiative to do. Nothing really similar or something similar has been done on Solana, but of course, from what I'm aware of, at least it's closed source up until now. Are there any things through the audit process that you found really interesting or challenges that were presented?
Well, one thing that I found interesting is the differences between the different auditors. So we've had 2 audits, and they came at it from very different angles. One of them really dove into the source code. This with Neodyme is really a top-of-the-line auditor, and they had really useful feedback for us. But you could see that they really dove into the source code and tried to understand what the program is doing, look at what are our intentions, how should it work, and does it actually work that way? And they also had a lot of experience with Solana, how you can set things up, and some useful suggestions for us to avoid situations that are maybe not problematic right now, but that might become a problem in the future. But that said, actually, I think most of our code was already pretty secure. We sidestepped a few issues that you can have on Solana. For example, we use a single account to store all of the Lido state, and that means that one class of attack where you have multiple accounts and you try to put in the wrong accounts when you call the program is just not possible by construction. And that's something that Neodyme also pointed out. It's something that we did well.
Thanks. Actually, at some point, you mentioned ideas or prospects for the future. So maybe that's something that we can pivot to from a little bit more of a functionality or feature set perspective. Anybody, I guess, from the course team, what kind of developments can we expect in the near future for ST Sol and for ST Sol owners? Are there any integrations that you guys want to inform users about?
Yeah, sure. So happy to take that. So I think, the main, as we mentioned, right, what the main use case for ST Sol is to be able to use it in DeFi. So we've been working on getting some of the first integrations going. As we know, one of the most important things is the liquidity for ST Sol itself, to be able to exit basically your staking position and sell it on the secondary market, or basically provide liquidity to the AMM pools. So that's mostly in progress right now, as some are already live. So our Saber ST Sol Soul pool is live, and it also gives people the ability to earn SBR liquidity rewards. We also recently passed a proposal that we will add some LDO incentives to bootstrap the liquidity. Really, why this all is important for Lido is that basically you can always directly withdraw SOL, basically like redeem ST SOL and receive SOL from the Lido program, but that always takes the activation period that Solana enforces. And then by just selling it on the secondary market, we give people the option to, switch out of the position more quickly. And that's just more user-friendly to people that maybe don't want to like deal with stake accounts, the activation period, and just want to stake or unstake at will. So that's the main one. So we have the stable pool, as I mentioned. We have Radium pairs with ETH, and that's not live yet actually, but USDC is live and ETH will go live soon. And then we have another ST SOL pair on Mercurial Finance, which is interesting maybe to highlight that will be optimized to kind of minimize the impermanent loss, as ST SOL is a value accruing token. So essentially the rewards increase the value, like the rewards received from staking increase the value of ST SOL as compared to SOL. And with Mercurial Finance, we're working with them to design the pool in a way that allows little impermanent loss to happen. And so for passive liquidity providers, that's great. And then going from that, we really want to increase the integrations in other DeFi applications. So I think a core primitive, of course, also lending and borrowing. So we're looking into like some of the lending protocols on Solana, for example, also Jet protocol, which is soon to launch, or I think Port Finance, for example, is one of them. So hopefully in the coming weeks, we'll have some integrations in that space. And then I think in the medium run, we also want to, as Lido is cross-chain and we're already on Ethereum, and there is the wormhole bridge that we now also will use to move LDO from Ethereum to Solana. Basically, we want to make use of those capabilities and kind of connect these different ecosystems and bring the ST assets into these other DeFi ecosystems. And I think then there's a lot of potential for, as also Konstantin mentioned, right, like applications maybe that use like mix of multiple liquid staking tokens, or integrations in some of the DeFi applications on different chains that maybe want access to SOL collateral. I think that's the overview.
It sounds like there's a lot of stuff in the pipeline. Maybe we can kind of open it to a bit more like free-form questions now. There may be some people in the audience who maybe want to come on stage and ask some things. So if that's the case, request the mic. And then I think in the meantime, we've already received some questions. And I know JK from Stakefish had something that he wanted to ask. So let's lead with that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I had a question around, I guess, ST SOL versus other stake pool tokens. Because obviously there's going to be a ton of other stake pools coming up, and they each have their own tokens. And I was just curious if maybe Felix or anyone else have any thoughts on like how ST SOL would be trading against sort of some of these other stake pool tokens. Would these be largely trading at par, or would they be diverging? And if they are diverging, like what would that mean? Basically.
Yeah, I can try to answer this. I think so. Definitely, I'm actually not entirely sure how it depends a little bit on how the other stake pools are designed. And I think as Solana doesn't support like rebasing tokens right now, most of them basically have this value accruing design. So over time, all of them will kind of increase in value, but at different rates potentially. So it depends a little bit on which other validators they stake with, what is their commission rate, maybe like how is their kind of uptime. So in Solana, it's important, right? The slot, your voting rate is high, then you get more rewards. So there might be a case that some will diverge a little bit, as for example, on Lido, we have basically 5% commission that every validator receives. Other stake pools might have like different commission rates. So there's like minor differences, but I think overall that shouldn't be too crazy. And I know, for example, the Party Parrot, right? They make this product which allows collateralizing different stake pool tokens and then receiving like kind of a token that combines all them. So maybe that's something interesting in that realm that is out there right now. And otherwise, I think we'll see how people will be using these different tokens, which will be succeeding, and how they can kind of work together or not.
I think like when slashing rolls out, which there isn't like an exact timeline yet, I think that might make some differences. But reality, I think, is that it'll probably trade pretty close to par right now, and most of the work is going to be in making sure that the validators have decent uptime and are doing kind of like the right thing.
My opinion here, like that, I mean, it still will be a leader. Why? Because of liquidity, and composability. Some of their staking derivatives, they will be used in more like in decentralized finance. They will have more liquidity, and so will be more used by, by users. And I think this is our goal, to build good liquidity for decentralized finance and integrate to all or any like DeFi protocol on Solana, and also move stake SOL to Terra ecosystem, for example, to Anchor, to Ethereum ecosystem. Maybe like one day such like assets can be used in ARF or like Maker or some other Ethereum DeFi. I think it would be cool.
Thank you guys for the input. I just had a random thought here. Like I'd be very curious to see sort of the token sort of comparisons, how these prices I think move across like along with time, because at least on the Ethereum side, a lot of the staking derivative tokens, the prices, they've diverged a lot. And to be fair, like stake pools I think are in its infancy, so maybe things do develop in different ways, but it'd be very cool to see a visualization of this
we need
forward.
Dune on Solana.
so some
that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, some of these tokens accrue like the governance token for for Lido or whatever, right? That there's like this aspect of that it also represents the governance token for the stake pools that it's managing. And then I see could be a lot of differences between the values, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I think one thing here to mention. Oh, sorry, Andrea, please.
No, I was just going to say one small call out is the Dune for Solana and stake pools is something we're actually interested in granting for. Anything that makes stake pools easier to understand and use is something the foundation is interested in helping out on. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably something also support from a Lido perspective, because it'd make our job easier as well. So start hacking, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Felix.
No, I just want like one added comment, I guess, on why in Ethereum, I think this problem is a little bit more pronounced, that the stake, like the peg is not so tight, or like some stake tokens lose or trade at discount to ETH. It's basically because, right, the withdrawals are not possible on ETH2 yet. So I guess there's like something that maybe the market takes into account, versus on Solana, where most of the stake pools, at least to my knowledge, have like different withdrawal capabilities. For example, like Lido, you can just withdraw, redeem the token and receive a stake account and then deactivate that. So there's like a natural way to leave the stake pool, and also kind of a natural arbitrage for people that see the open market price and might want to take advantage of that. If it trades at a too high discount, you can actually do that. So that, I think, makes the kind of pairs more robust compared to Ethereum.
Yeah, I think that last comment makes a lot of sense, Felix. because really like the context of like the liquid staking limitations in the two systems are really different. I think we also had like a really quick question here that was sent to us via message is, what do we see with regards to the possibility of implementing liquid staking within wallets? So like being able to easily stake and unstake a liquid token. Is that something you guys are planning for?
Yeah, so right now there is the Lido widget, which can be reached at solana.lido.fi, right? And you can connect the common Solana wallets and instantly use it to redeem or to stake or unstake. A really native functionality in the extension or something. I'm not sure if like that might be like for some wallets that's something that they do where they have like their own app browser or something. So we're definitely keen on working with wallets to achieve that. But otherwise, right, it's relatively easy right now to use it through the widget. I think that's all I can say to that right now.
And I can hop in here. That's definitely one of the focus areas that we are prioritizing is making the user experience as seamless as possible. So whether you're on a specific wallet or one of the aggregator type dashboards like a Zerion, you're just able to, our goal is to make it so that it's as simple as one click. Wherever you're connected to Web3, you can stake those assets and immediately gain exposure to the various ST assets that Lido has. So that is a big initiative.
Okay, and I think we also had a question from the audience. So our moderator is working to get the person with a question up on now. Danish, are you on? Or Danish? I'm not sure how you pronounce your
Danish, yeah, sorry. No one gets it right.
Hey, welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, I just had a quick question. I came here kind of at the tail end, so sorry if you already discussed this, but with regards to like audits and safety guarantees, I know there's a lot of like auditing of the like source code, especially when it's made open source. But I was curious, is there any maybe this is because I'm not like familiar with deploying programs on Solana, like is there any like model checkers or like, you know, when you think about like distributed systems using like TLA plus to specify, like formally specify and verify that you have like safety guarantees and whatnot, can you do that with, you know, these sorts of protocols?
I think I can answer that question. So at the moment, the tooling is not really there to do any kind of model checking, because if you want to do model checking, you need to have both the program itself and also the model, and then some tooling to connect it to. And that's not there at the moment. But Lido for Solana is written in Rust, and Rust is a programming language that offers you a lot of static guarantees that you wouldn't get from a language like C, for example. So there are a lot of things that you can rule out at the program level, like classes of bugs that you just can't introduce by construction. And we use this, for example, when we handle monetary amounts. You need to deal with SOL and also ST-SOL. And then there's a risk that you confuse the two and you put in a SOL value where you needed ST-SOL, and then computation no longer makes sense. So that is something that we can rule out just using the Rust type system. Does that answer your question?
No, it does. Yeah, thanks. That's pretty cool. Rust is very cool.
Okay, I think we're gonna wrap slowly because we're already 15 minutes over what we had intended. But we invite all of you guys to come into the Lido Discord or the Chorus One Telegram or the Lido Telegram and ask your questions. And then hopefully the next time we do another one of these spaces around ST Sol, we can answer those questions, and we can also tell you about other stuff that's in the pipeline.
Yeah, easy. I just want to add one last point and ask everyone who want to build something with text Solana. You can join our grant program, and we will be happy, to give a grant to, all developers who want to build some application on top. So you can build something like, we want to integrate Sol as text Sol as a collateral. We want to see some maybe 2x Sol or 5x takes Sol, margin trading, something like that. So we will be happy if you will start to build applications. So welcome to Discord or research.lido.fi with proposals. And I think Lido grant program will be happy to give grants to developers.
Thanks for that note, Konstantin. Yeah, Lido is just giving money away, guys. So if you have value to add and you have ideas, let's share them with us. So once again, congratulations to Chorus One for really developing and implementing an amazing product in no time. Thanks to the Solana Foundation for supporting this product, and hopefully we're going to have a lot more to share with you guys in the near future.
All right, thanks everyone, and thanks Izzy for these kind words. And yeah, happy to see everyone in Discord. Bye.